Extravaganza, hosted by Geoff Fienberg. And here is your host, Geoff Fienberg.
All right, Geoff, ready to go? We're on.
What is up? We're back. I didn't know if I was going to get the fancy intro this time, but I guess you don't get announced to the tee for your breakfast ball. Little technical difficulties to start our third major extravaganza of the year here. Jason, if I could just see myself and everything on the big screen too, that would be great when you get a chance. Third major extravaganza of the year, US Open, my favorite one of the year. Can get a little sloppy, not as clean and perfect as the Masters. I think that's what makes it so much fun. Although the ceiling's high, the floor might be a little low. Floor is not low for this guy waiting in the background for me. Pat Mayo, my Ricky Henderson of these major extravaganzas. I believe 1-1 with a even units situation through two, which is probably better than most. Although we have had two successful extravaganzas here. But any win, it's always a win when you're not in the negative playing this golf roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have two. Do you want the sillier one, or do you want the, well, still silly, but one that I think could hit?
The one that, you'll give us both, but we're going to mold you to one for official documentation.
Can't hear a word you're saying.
You just pulled my mic, boys.
There we go. I can hear you again.
You can give us both picks. We want both picks, but you've got to tell me which one you want it to be officially documented for record, for which, I'll let you know your record when we come back around next month or next year.
I am going to take Alex Fitzpatrick, top 30 finish plus 190 as my prop. So almost a 2-1. So if I get this one right, I'll be up almost 2 units here from doing the show over the course of the 3 majors. But that one feels very good to me. I saw he was wearing VR goggles on the putting green, so he's really going to figure out the Shinnecock putting surfaces. But the combo of elite iron play, elite around the green play, plus accuracy, although in the wind that's expected on Thursday and Friday, I don't know how accurate anyone is really going to be. So then it kind of defaults to chipping, approach play, hope to break even putting, and you should be well on your way to sneaking inside not only the top 30, you can ladder that up if you want to. I bet him to win the tournament, so top 30 seems like a good place for me to be on this show. The other one I was going to give out is Chris Kirk. So he's 6-1 to finish inside the top 30. And for whatever reason, Chris Kirk just has a really good US Open track record the last 2 years, and that both includes Pinehurst and Oakmont, more of hopefully what we'll see this week. I do think that this week is going to feel more like an Open Championship type week rather than a classical US Open. But between Pinehurst and Oakmont, you combine those two together, you can get yourself around here pretty well too. The putter has been ice cold, but if you go back and look, and a lot of guys that have done well at Shinnecock over the years. Now, we really only have 2018 to pull from, but if you can extrapolate a little bit from 2004, guys that we saw linger around, we can use Open Championships, we can use this, we can use that. But it started to occur to me, what would be a good comp course, Geoff, for Shinnecock? I think it's PGA National. Here's why. The wind can wreak havoc, not as much as we're expected to see here with gusts up to 40 miles per hour at some points on Thursday, but it's really going to be really difficult to hit these even wide fairways at Shinnecock. And if you miss them, you're absolutely screwed. You're in this deep rough or the fescue that you might get it out of. You probably will not get it out of. And even if you do manage to get it out, you have no control. So you might just end up in it again. Now, obviously, you do not have this sort of rough or fescue at PGA National. What you do have, if you miss fairways, Geoff, is what?
Water,
which is about the same sort of penalty as you're going to see in the water this time, or in the rough and fescue this time around. So guys that have played well in the wind at PGA National over time. And Chris Kirk obviously has a great track record at PGA National. Plus, he has won that event, won it 2 years ago. That I think if you're looking for a long shot down the board, there's a lot of flashy names that can really stick out. But as we've seen at US Opens over the years, unless you are an elite prospect, be it a Zalatoris or even John Rahm when he first showed up to play in these majors, those guys can excel. Usually what you see hanging around T23 are like old dudes who went on tour 5 years ago, who just still have, if Kuchar was in this, Kuchar would probably be a good play.
So a lot of weeks there's been money to be made on Matthew Fitzpatrick. He continues to play well, so I'm not surprised there. And I agree with your sentiment that the player profile that this thing is going to fit is probably a lot different from the betting card of bombers that we've been constructing the last few years. Let me ask you about the waves. The tee sheets are out for the most part. Are you betting? Have you been holding off, waiting for avoiding that afternoon tee time, or are you just sort of letting it ride?
It doesn't seem like the afternoon, the worst winds look like they're in the morning to me. So I just think it's going to be bad all day.
Bad all day. And I love nothing. Wave integrity to a major championship on a course like this. It'll be near perfect. Since I last spoke to you yesterday morning, go shout out Mayo Media Network, all the content all week long. Every single day something dropping. You've been chatting with Keith Stewart live on property, final DFS breakdown. We'll be going live after Thursday. We'll be doing a Cut Sweat live after Friday afternoon. So always one of my favorite shows we'll do of the year, weeks of the year. But since I spoke to you yesterday morning, have you made any more outright bets?
I did. I have 6 on the board right now. When you said Matt Fitzpatrick, I said Alex Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
To be inside the top 30. That's what I want for the. Although if you want to give me Matt Fitzpatrick top 30 at almost 2-1, I will take that. I just have a feeling that's not being offered right now in the market.
Apologies. Alex.
So
who you've been a truther on since he got the card.
And he's been great since he got the card. I mean, he even wiggled his way, I believe, into the top 20 last week in Canada, despite not having his A game. He had his A game ball striking wise, which he seems to always have. If you can catch him on like the respectable putting week, all of a sudden it's game on. So I did end up betting him outright. But the 3 big ones that I have on my outright card, I think that Chris Gotterup is going to win this tournament. So Chris Gotterup at 55, he's been bet down to 50, 40, depending on where you're looking right now. I still love Chris Gotterup. Even if it is a 45, I'm good with that. His chain, he's going to weigh him down. He's not going to sway in the wind. Local guy and possesses the right type of game for around these surfaces. But Matt Fitzpatrick was the other bet that I made. I have him at 28-1. My good friends, actually, I probably shouldn't say that on this sponsored show, but I have friends. If you come to me and you're in Canada outside of Ontario and you need a 26-1 on Matt Fitzpatrick, I still have that available for you right now. Unfortunately, he's 20 or 22 almost everywhere. He's been bet down. He's going to be a very popular bet this week. So Matty Fitz at 28, Gotterup at 55, and then I did take the plunge on Russell Henley at 45-1. I wanted one of those elite wedge recovery type players who can actually make some putts. My entire betting card is constructed of guys that really can't putt all that well. So one guy on there needs to be able to make a 5-footer or 2. The 3 bombs that I went with, Kitayama 90-1, but I always play these with the placings. So I have 8 places on Kitayama at 90. I have 8 places on Alex Fitzpatrick at 110-1. And then I did bet Chris Kirk at 400-1 with 8 places, just, for some fun. If he comes 7th, the week is more than paid off.
Pat Mayo at Mayo Media Network. Covered wire to wire, wall to wall this week for the US Open. Again, I'll be joining him Thursday for a live round reaction and Friday for that Cut Sweat, which I anticipate it being a fascinating one. Pat, thanks so much as always, bud.
Yeah, it'll be me, you, and Custa on Friday, and me and Cam Stewart live Wednesday evening if people got any questions.
Yeah, there might not just be golf questions you get on that one. Thanks, Pat.
See ya.
Let's go here. Thanks so much to Pat. We'll move along here. Our friend from the team at BetSperts, or I guess staying in the BetSperts family nowadays. Ryan Noonan at Ryan Noonan on Twitter. Ryan, what's up, buddy? US Open week. It's not the perfection of Augusta. It's, you're more likely to get a situation you might encounter at a Muni, as crazy as it sounds, than you would at Augusta at a US Open. And I think that's what makes it so charming.
Jeffrey, good to be with you as always, my friend. Would you call this your favorite? Is this your favorite of the 4?
Yeah, it is. And it's a favorite, I get based on the ceiling.
Like picking children.
Yeah, kind of like picking children, although, there's an obvious one you don't mind if maybe they had to miss dinner. But when you got that many. But when they perform their best, this one to me, hits the mark. And I'm very confident going into this week that the USGA does not want to be the story. The course and the players can be the story. They'll walk that line. They'll do what they can. Just as long as we get wave integrity, we are in for an absolute beauty.
Yeah, I think we're always in for a beauty pre-flop. I mean, we're kind of in a heater, right? Of these, like, this is why I think the US Open holds its place in your heart. I don't want to speak for you, but I do think that we have these venues are kind of tiered off in a way. We're like, don't have an overlap a ton of like, this is both a possible PGA Tour, PGA Championship event, or also a US Open event. Like, we have these spots where US Opens, like, the venues can be a star. And we just have this like 3 run of Pinehurst #2, Oakmont, and Shinnecock back to back to back, which is about as good as I think it can get from a venue standpoint. And I think that's why we love this, because the venue can be the star. And I'm hoping that continues to be the case. It's obviously been arguably the star for maybe the wrong reasons the last 2 times we were here, but I don't know, like, those final rounds are on YouTube, bud. Have you watched those? Fantastic television.
It's
fantastic.
hard.
Go watch 04. It is a disaster, and it's great. And like, Johnny Miller is frothing at the mouth. It is electric.
And you notice something, like, all the guys that won here, they're like dogs. They're dogs. Like Corey Pavin, he was like known, he was a dog.
Dog.
Retief, like, relentless dog. Brooks Koepka, no secrets about what that guy is. And yeah, I like to think we might sort of feel the same way with this guy. But Rye, let's give it your prop. I may have, no pun intended, with the dogs.
I almost flip-flop on you, but I'm going to stay with the integrity. I don't know if there's a better bet on the board, Jeff, than FanDuel's plus 130 with ties for Russell Henley to T20. Actual dog who literally just goes to big boy events, big boy tracks, strong fields, and top 20s. We're talking about a guy who has back-to-back T10s or better at Open Championships. And I agree with Patrick. I think our corollaries this week are, both Augusta and Open venues, more so than our traditional US Open venues. Also has multiple top 5s. I think 2 out of the last 4 years at Augusta. We almost stole that one from Xander a couple of years ago, the Open Championship, wins at Bay Hill, right? So we've I think had to have grown in our way that we handicap Russell Henley, or think of spots where he can only win because he's such a short hitter and he's just like a walleye all-star. And it's like, no, you can very much contend in a spot like this where you can just control your golf ball off the tee. We know that these are big wide fairways, but you've heard the players talk about, like, similar to when you talk about the greens, and like even going back to like greens at Pinehurst, where Russell Henley, like T7, like being in the right spot on the fairway matters too. So like the accuracy piece comes into play, not just on finding fairways, but positioning yourself well, scrambling on the short grass, being able to hold putts. I mean, if anyone goes back and watches the 18 final round of Brooks hold an insane amount of 8 to 12 footers for par and for bogey. And I think it's just on the menu this week. And it's really hard for us to model, and data wise, like, putting is really noisy, but Henley can make them in bunches. We saw that at Colonial when he went out and stole that one. So I love it. Plus 130 on FanDuel with ties, Russell Henley to T20.
So to that point, we mentioned the winners here being dogs, and I like others, I'm going to be on the Henley bandwagon this week. Raymond Floyd, one of the best putters of his era. Corey Pavin, like a widely respected, well-known, world-class putter. Goosen, excellent putter. Brooks in that window, like, fantastic for that sort of elite skill set player. We didn't usually see guys putt as strong as Brooks was able to putt. So there's that. And I should watch. The problem is, like, this is one of my sporting tough ones, Rye. Like, there's 2 putts in the podcast era that just I'll die with. Tommy here and DJ at Chambers.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never not forget those putts. DJ a little easier because he went on to win a Masters and rebounded exactly the year later. Tommy would be a beautiful redemption story if he could do it on this track. But I'm not, I got a Tommy rant later. I'm hoping for the best. It's not exactly a nice one, although we know the week can work for him. It's just more of, I think, is like Major's performance record's a bit overrated. I got into it with Mayo. It's a bit overrated. Like, look at the last 3-4 years. He hasn't mixed. And like Saturday at the Masters, when he was right there, he just might as well been Shane Lowry's caddy or something.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, if you go back and watch 18, knowing that that the putt on, the 18th hole putt from 2018, you will actually be more frustrated watching back Tommy's final round because it's par 5 16th. He didn't birdie. He was in the middle of a birdie run. He did not birdie the par 5. There was a couple other very, very, very makeable shorter putts that he did miss.
It's tough though to like litigate the whole round when you score as well as he scored, but it's just easier to litigate the last one.
Yeah. Yeah. The last one's
like that's all. Like, I understand there's always putts in the round and you don't want to pick on a guy when I think it's a scoring record round in the history of US Opens. So it's just the last one that I'll like choose to lament, really.
But when you're watching it, you know that the scoring run is coming.
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like,
oh, God.
He throws a dart and you're like, oh, here it goes. Here's the start. And then he misses that one. You're like, oh, okay, he missed this one. Like, that was a makeable one. All right, wait, I know we have a birdie barrage coming.
Yeah, I guess you see him score that, so you assume every makeup, like, in tight, he hit all of them.
All of them, and he doesn't. So it's a tough watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rye.
Good to see you as always, bud.
You got something, Jay?
I just have a question for Ryan if he wants to stick around here.
Well,
yeah.
Chat's asking what about Henley top 40 at -160? Is that also good? I assume so. Just Chat's asking.
Variance in this is so hard. I kind of always want a plus in front of it. That's just kind of personal preference. These bands in which someone could be T20 with ties and T40 literally could be a shot, right? Like the way that these things bunched up. So if I'm having to pay like 90 cents extra to get basically what would simulate out to 20 spots, it's just really not how it falls on the odds board. So personally, I would rather take on the ties market, knowing that there's better just T20 prices. And I would stick away from laying any juice.
All right. Makes perfect sense. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Fry. All right, boys, let's keep the train moving on. Up next, sitting in the back room, all smiles. I'd be all smiles too. John Hasselbauer, we're talking about Tommy, a lovable loser. I guess, maybe lovable losers do have their day. If I was a Knicks fan, maybe, and like a golf hardo, maybe it would be like, yeah, like if we just won, I guess Tommy can win.
There you go.
John, yeah, congrats, my guy. You live your whole life and you see other people have those moments and you just think like and next thing you know, you're in that moment yourself. That must be quite an experience.
Oh yeah. No, it's been a hell of a week. I made a, impulse decision on Friday to fly down to San Antonio on Saturday. Put all my chips on the table, said, if we're going to win this, we're going to win it in 5. Went down with my buddy, a little 30-hour trip, no sleep, went there, came back, partied in San Antonio, drove to Houston, came back. Finally caught up on sleep so I can grind some US Open back in my backyard. I'm back on Long Island. I live like 50 miles from Shinnecock. Obviously never played it. Obviously never had an opportunity to play it. Don't play any courses like it, but excited about it. I'll be at the parade actually for the Knicks on Thursday, and then I'll be at Shinnecock on Friday. So busy week for sure.
Busy week. That sounds like a week.
Yeah.
I'm a little,
Jeff, you're a Toronto guy. The Yankees were just playing the Blue Jays the same day as the World Cup game, and it was like none of the Blue Jays were showing up to that game. None of the Blue Jays fans. Yeah. That's like I have that fear for the first round at Shinnecock where all the New Yorkers are going to be at this parade and we're building up for the US Open. And then all of a sudden, oh no, maybe a little, maybe Friday is where we actually feel the pressure of the fans, because I'm telling you, everybody in New York is going to be in New York City on Thursday.
I got no doubt that property is going to be like banging this weekend. And yeah, probably by like Friday afternoon, it's the weekend. Everyone is still in the afterglow of the Knicks. And maybe to your point, like people on property are saying it's as busy as they usually see these early crowds at early practice rounds. So maybe there's something to that. All right, though, let's get right into it. You're here. You got a documented prop. I know what it is, but the audience doesn't, John. So give us the sell. And I want to say, like, there's a grimy way this tournament's going to play out this week potentially, and I think this man is very much a part of that. So lay it on us.
Yeah, the grimy merchant, the grimy conditions merchant. But I haven't seen enough chatter on Cameron Smith, and it's probably because of the live stuff, and people don't, go out of their way to endorse the live players, and they don't see them play as much. But I'll tell you, I was at Aronimink for the PGA Championship over the weekend for the last 2 days, and Cameron Smith was very much in position to win that tournament. And I'll tell you, when it was Aaron Rye and Alex Smalley and Matty Schmid and Cam Smith, there was a murmur around there like, this is a bad man. This is the man to watch out for. It's not those guys, it's Cam Smith. And he needed that because he had a really tough stretch of consecutive miscuts since going to live. He needed to get the monkey off of his back. And I think he's playing with a lot more confidence since then. 3 straight top 16s for Cam Smith. He's finally playing like the player he used to be in 2023 when he won the Open Championship at St. Andrews. So we love generous fairways, generous landing areas, places where you can kind of mitigate that miss off the tee for Cam Smith. And don't get me wrong, this is not LACC where you can Wyndham Clark banana slice it everywhere around the property. It's not even Augusta National where it doesn't really matter if you're screwing it around everywhere. Like, you do have to have some control over the driver. So it's not like you can hit it everywhere, but you don't have to hit driver on every single hole at Shinnecock, which is what I like for Cameron Smith. If the driver's just not working for him, he can club down and put it in the fairway. So I'm high on Cam Smith. The prop that I like for him on FanDuel is plus 450 in the top Oceania region. So essentially the top Australian. You throw in Ryan Fox in there as well. I'm not intimidated by Adam Scott. It's his 100th start. We haven't seen him make much noise in any of those starts. He's not exactly, peaking coming into this week, and the short game is concerning, especially with the putter for me when it comes to Adam Scott. And then Minwoo Lee has largely just been disappointing in the majors. He did have that one instance where he contended at LACC in 2023, but largely it's been pretty disappointing for Minwoo. So I like Cam Smith. He's a dog. He's trending in the right direction. And if the winds are picking up, it's going to be a scrambling contest. And he's not afraid to get up and down from nefarious positions. That's how he got his first major championship win at St. Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, when he's on, he gets up and down from the moon, and that's a quality that I think you're going to want, especially if your guy's lucky enough to maybe survive, catch a patch of conditions early in the week, which then sets them up for a late tee time on the weekend. At that point, you just want a guy that will save par if he's got a chance. John, I appreciate it. I'm jealous of you. You're living the moment. We all hope one day we'll find ourselves in it. Man, your Thursday, Friday sounds awesome. And then it's the weekend. So I hope maybe your weekend's already starting. If not, maybe it should be. Thanks, John.
Hey, listen, from one OG Anunoby appreciator to another.
Okay. Yeah. No, he did good things for the Raps, and now he's a legend.
He was injured for this, like basically all the playoffs, to be fair. But
yeah, but he was a good player, and I don't know, the Raps. They moved on. They didn't have the whatever. He wouldn't be. He's better where he is. He's better where he is. We did our part, I guess. The Raps did their part to help the Knicks. Thanks, John.
All right, cheers, buddy.
Okay, we're moving along here, Jay, but someone gets the honor, and I wouldn't give it to anybody else. First round leader payout. The US Major is a 4-day grind, but with first round early win, your outright bet could cash just after one round. Use your token on any outright winner bet at Shinnecock Hills. Then if your golfer's leading after round one, your bet wins instantly and gets paid out early. That's right. Pick the golfer you think can top the leaderboard after the opening round, and if they're out front when round one wraps up, you'll cash your outright winner bet right away. For me, Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed gets out of the gates early. He's ready to compete. And we, maybe, cash early. That's what I'm hoping for. Patrick Reed, my dog. So whether you're backing a favorite to come out firing or looking for a long shot to make an early statement, first round early win gives you the chance to get paid before the weekend even begins. Find your pick, use your token, and get in on first round early win for the US Major. Only on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started.
I just want to say, Geoff, great job on the ad read there. Number one. Number two, this is like your all-time nightmare promotion. But FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states with Kansas and affiliation Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Tokens are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including token expiration, max market requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Visit www.mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana.
So, do you have a watch along to promote? You want to promote?
We do have a watch along to promote. We're going to be doing World Cup watch alongs here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that stuff, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. The next watch along we have coming up is the Wednesday watch along with England, England, Croatia. Apologies. Going to be a lot of fun. And then also we have one on Friday if you're a US fan and you're looking to sweat the game with someone. USA, Australia. It's going to be an important one for the US for them to win.
Don't you have the Canada game as well?
That's next week, but we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll promote that next.
I feel bad because, Byron was probably excited seeing me do it. And it's like I probably cheated because I told Jason, I'll read the promo, you do the disclaimer. And Byron, I think when Jason started to do the disclaimer and he realized what was happening, he was a little disappointed because I passed the buck. I gave the hard work to Jason, but he reads that thing every day. So he's got reps. And if I had to read it, it's already on tape. You can go watch the other ones. Byron, what's up, buddy? I got to say, I don't know that I've ever seen the full... I don't know. Have you seen the full look? You look good, my guy. It's grown in nicely, I want to say. I don't know if the missus wants it gone or what's that about, but I think it looks good from here.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a little warm, but at the end of the day, the beard is here to stay for a while. We'll see maybe if Cam Smith does some fun stuff this weekend, I'll leave the stash and get dirty there. But was loving what John had to say about Cam Smith. Love what's going on there. He was the ladder play of the week. And, the alley-oop to J-Bone there for the disclaimer was a professional move, Geoff. You don't want to be fumbling through that. That was easily one of the best moments I've ever had on a podcast was with you. In the back studio there watching you just power through that disclaimer. It was awesome.
I was running out of breath reading the first part of the promo, so I'd have just been real done if I did the disclaimer. But Jay, congrats. Good disclaimer, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, B, let's get into it. It's the US Open. I mean, I this is a loaded question, but can you just give me a bit of a Cole's notes on the sort of players, the player profile for which you are banking on this weekend?
I'm finding a lot of value in guys that are super sharp around the greens that can hit their irons well and have played well in majors. So I think, with the 53% green regulation rate last year, you're going to be chipping half the time after hitting an approach shot. Some guys less, some guys more. I think the importance of chipping cannot be overstated this week. The difficulty of the chips that they're going to have and the abundance of them is going to just make it or break it for you this week. So I think you can find some short game wizards in the 40s and beyond, which is pretty much where I started my card this week. So the conditions are going to be rough. I'm looking for as many guys as I can, that still check all the boxes.
Yeah, so you are, I guess, just flooding the zone with high quality short game. And I guess you're going to just start deeper down the board. Is there an elite player, if you had to make one, that does check the boxes you would want to check? Is that Matt Fitzpatrick? I guess he's the popular one in that regard, maybe?
I'm playing John Rahm one and done this week. If I had Matt Fitzpatrick, I think I'd still go with John Rahm. I think one and done allows you to really just tell you like who your favorite guy at the top of the board is, because you don't have to pay for him. You can just play him. And I've got Rom left. I think his game is wholesome. I've bet Fitz at 20-1 as well. Bet Fitz for a top 20 as well. And you think you can find that at plus money for Fitzy. So he makes a lot of sense at this golf course too. But again, pricing in the 20s for Cam Young, for Fitz, just a little spendy for me to kind of go that angle. I kind of like the guys at the 40s. Patrick Reed's, Cam Smith in the 100s, Russell Henley's, Justin Rose's, Tyrrell Hatton's.
And I guess maybe to, tease your pick here, I mentioned when, John was teeing up Cam Smith that, come the weekend, you want a guy that would get up and down from the moon. And your prop pick, I would say, is also someone I would put on a short list of guys that I could think could save par from the moon.
Hideki Matsuyama could save par from the bottom of a crater in the moon. He could save par from whatever the famous building in Long Island is. I think from behind that in the basement, he's fine to go. 75% of the time, Hideki's finishing top 40 in majors. You can get that at FanDuel at minus 120, ties paid in full. I mean, that to me just screams value. His biggest issue, Geoff, driver accuracy, right? Biggest issue this week, it's kind of nerfed a bit. You can still hit a lot more fairways this week. He's going to miss probably more than most of the field, but that's still well in the 60s percentage rates there. He also is the best iron player when it comes to US Opens. If you go and filter on US Open golf in the last 50 rounds, Hideki Matsuyama is gaining 1.6 strokes on approach at these golf courses, and he's one of the most amazing around the green specialists ever. So a top 40 with those two elite skill sets at a major. He's finished inside the top 40 75% of the time there and made cuts 95% of the time. This guy just plays golf on the weekends at majors. That's what he does. So Hideki Matsuyama is my play. I've also bet him at 66.
Beautiful. Are you overreacting to the tee times, or you just think the whole day is going to be a bit of a banana, bit of a shit show?
What are people saying? Morning is better, or
it's hard to keep up because I feel like last night, maybe even this morning, people anticipating something were saying they wanted to avoid the afternoon.
It's looking that way for Thursday for sure. Now that I look at it, but this is Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon right now. We are This changed since the last time I looked at it. So is it going to stay the same, or is it going to change, or is it going to be more accurate? We don't know, but it's looking that way slightly. It's looking fun in the afternoon, like really fun in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm just worried. I don't want, I guess that's the problem. Like when you don't bet, you just want maximum chaos. When you are making bets, it's like you want your guys to have a chance.
That's why I just went with as many as I could because just one of them has to fall through the cracks somehow.
Yeah, no, I think this is I have never been like a flood the zone in a major guy. US Opens, like bombers that I believe, are champions, that, guys that I believe in. That's who I just, auto bet US Opens with. Not this time. Not this time. It's almost like cheeky Europeans and like internationals are the sort of players that I feel like I want to be a part of. And what the Americans I do like outside of, my Cam Young futures would probably be guys that might play more like a European, like a Russell Henley.
Oh, dude, it's going to be a fun week because everyone's on board. This is the way this golf course is going to allow it. I think anyone is capable of showing up. We had Russell Knox finish 12th last time they played at this US Open venue. So, yeah, shout out Russell Knox.
Who, I guess just before I let you out here, what are your thoughts on the winning score? I don't know. I'm sure that line's been moving around here. Did you play that in any direction?
No, I think I saw it at like 1 under. What is 278? What is 278?
Oh,
That's,
buddy, if I showed you my report card from like
70 times 4 is 280, right? So yeah, it's 1.5 under par. That's I think what the line was, and it was juiced to the over. I think so. I think it's perfect, and we got really hard about the PGA Championship over under. and that did not work out. So, these major championships, trying to figure out how the course is going to play is probably one of the biggest mysteries out there.
If you had to bet one of Bryson or Morikawa, who would you want to bet?
Colin, all day. Yeah, there's a good chance Bryson misses another cut this week. I think his biggest weapon is his driver that gets mega nerfed over this golf course, and he's just, but he's not in it. The vibes are low with him right now, in my opinion. He's forcing them, and it's not looking good for Bryson.
Would you do you have any interest in Colin?
I don't know.
Under normal conditions, maybe this would be a place, the sort of conditions would set up nicely for him, right?
Yes, but again, I don't know. Like his back is like frustratingly and it's not his back; it's what's in his head about his back. Yeah. It's in his brain. Like his back is like influenced his brain now, and that's like the worst thing. So I'm not necessarily going to be betting him. I think in other spots you can find Colin Morikawa, but there's other guys, grinders, low ball flighters, Russell, Reed, Rose, Body Blah. The guys, Hidekis. Those are my guys I'm looking for this week. Blue collar boys, not Silver Spoon Morikawa this week.
At the Model Maniac always delivers some of the best information on the internet. Yeah, go Jets.
We need the John Nix vibes. I went and changed clothes just so that I could get some sort of continuity for my desperate franchise to just glom onto any sort of good vibes. And I went onto a live stream with a fellow New Yorker sports fan, and I'm grabbing it and I'm ingesting it. Tim needs to just stay off the mic for a hot minute, let the good vibes roll through. So that's me, Geoff. Thank you so much for having me.
Brian, can I just ask you a question? Sorry, Byron. Can I ask you a question? Jets related. Do you want Brandon Sorsby?
It's like my betting card. Give me all the quarterbacks, and hopefully one of them falls through the cracks. This is if our hero comes through the supplemental draft, then this is the Jets' path. This is how it has to happen.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, boys.
All right. Let's go. Keep the train moving along. Let's go. Head down south, where I'm sure the humidity is rocking. At my boy at Tour Picks, Joe Idone. Joe, what's going on, friend? US Open week. It's not as pristine and perfect like the Masters. It's gonna get a little sloppy. And guys aren't afraid to call someone out because they'd probably never do that at the Masters. So, my favorite week of the year. What you say?
Yeah, brother. Excited for it. Thanks for having me on. I feel like you had the Mayo Media A team and my co-host before me. So, I'm happy to play the 6-man role here and hopefully dish out a couple winners.
Let's go. I guess let's not waste any time. I got some questions for you on the back end here. Let's get right into it, Joe. What's your favorite prop, US Open?
Bob Mack. Everyone, I'm going to go Bob Mack because I do feel this prevailing narrative where you just talked about with Byron that I saw of everyone kind of having their short game flavor of the month here. I heard Cam Smith. I heard a lot of different names. I'm going to take Bob Mack in that regard. Seemed to kind of turn things around, I would say, positively in Canada. Super impressed with his ability to gain strokes off the tee is now in 15 straight events. So he's really figured out the driver. It's a guy who's won in Scotland. He's won in Dunhill. He's won in Canada. He was second at the US Open last year. He was fourth at the Players. I think the moment is something that this player relishes. He's got shot making. He's comfortable in the wind. And I just think he's got the guts to pull it off on a very difficult golf course.
So Bobby Mack, I assume all that, I don't doubt you're going to have him to win, but is there a other market or prop market, or you want to lay on Bobby Mack winning this thing for me?
In the prop market, top 20 is plus 260 on McIntyre, but I do have the outright as well at 80 to 1.
Yeah. So, you mentioned he is a guy, if he is mixing, I almost obviously he wouldn't be favored versus a Scotty Scheffler, but if he's he has shown he goes head to head with these players who, as great as he is, we would wouldn't argue are in higher tiers. So to win a tournament like this, that's definitely a quality I want. And I sometimes I find myself betting guys who I kind of know would probably wilt in that situation, but you do hope for the best. And yeah, he should feel right at home in how this thing is gonna play. He's like he's like European, without like the driving distance. He's like he's the Ryder Cup team's Chris Gotterup, for lack of a better name, who's not on a Ryder Cup team, but yeah, another very popular player. I watched you and John earlier, and you were teasing it, and you guys even put out a clip of, you clipped it. Did you end up betting Bryson this week, Joe?
Yeah, about an hour ago, I took the 30-1. And listen, I'm not here to stake claim that it's the greatest bet in the world. I'm accepting the risk, and Byron made valid points that a miscut is firmly in play here. But, it's funny because we talked, actually, you were one of the ones that helped me push this narrative through the finish line at the Masters when I hadn't made a bet on like the Wednesday or the Tuesday before. And you were like, are you interested in Rory at the top? Because no one wants Rory. He's moving now to 14 to 15-1. Nobody wants Rory. I did it. And I kind of feel the same vibe with Bryson this week, where he's gone from being 10-1 to the Masters, 12-1, and he's 30-1. It's just a number that I just took him at. There are reasons for it. Obviously, multiple-time US Open winner. I'm concerned about the short game, but I also wonder, Jeff, and this is as I took Bob Mack for this very reason, are we pushing too much in the direction of short game? When you look at that leaderboard in 2018, Brooks, DJ, Tony Finau, these aren't guys that we consider to have the best hands and chipping prowess around the PGA Tour at the time. So I wonder if you just take the power guy, and the power guy who's moved the most, he's not in the big four anymore, apparently, according to the sports books, is Bryson DeChambeau. So yes, I'm in.
So as I'd always put it with a player like that at a major championship, even though I'm not betting, I'll defend your pick by saying, who cares if he misses the cut? You're not betting that with an each way. His missed cut would get you as much money as him being in it and finishing third, fourth, even second. It would come with less excitement and less sweat. The pain would be over quicker when they miss the cut on the weekend. You sort of wash it away. But, when chasing these big game hunters, you accept the miscut as, part of the call there. So I got nothing on that. I will say a Bryson win this week would be very impressive. I wouldn't be shocked, but it would be one of the most impressive wins in golf in some time, in my opinion. Because I got this picture in my head, and it's just for the narrative, and it's more a joke, but it's this pro golf thing is his side hustle, right? So he's going to go he's as someone with a job, and they do these Etsy projects on the side. He's going to go win American champion while it's his Etsy is playing pro golf. So good, I would, to the amount of praise the amount of air, he wouldn't need it from me to already have it in his tires if he actually pulls this off. I'll be pumping for years.
There's no doubt about it. I would push back a little bit on that. This is his side gig.
He's in meetings to sell in the same way Rahm is I'm a golfer. I don't know anything about business. You hear Bryson talk, he's I'm seeing the pitch decks. I don't know. Yeah. He's got a lot going on.
It's a valid concern. Look, he's wrong. He's wrong about this, and I believe that. But he actually thinks in his mind that this is helping him prepare better for these tournaments by putting himself under the gun of YouTube, playing with Bob Does Sports or whoever he plays with, and trying to break 50. He thinks this is working. So, he's thought crazy things in the past, and he's been right maybe 25% of the time, but he's been right twice at US Opens on these crazy narratives where I'm going to beef up and I'm going to hit it 360 everywhere. And that's not this course, but I would say this course has some Pinehurst in it. He was able to do it there.
He
is he in the same form? No.
Yes, he's a world-class putter. We've seen everyone who's won here, is a great putter. So yeah, he checks a lot of boxes. I think listen, you'll get a tip your hat if he wins, Joe. I don't know that you'll be that tips checker. There'll be a crowded sheet there with you.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was going to ask you before you get me out of here, Geoff. Are you in on Waco this week? I know he's kind of your guy in majors. I'm circling that. I want in. I need. Give me the push. Like, are we there?
I mean, it's hard for me to push when it was like a future. So I got him at 90. I think they're still like 90s. I've actually seen a couple like a little bigger. If you work a little harder. He's got like that Yako like trajectory that like he's got the shots, man. He can play those bullets. I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know in the way that like I trust Bobby to like stand toe to toe or make like that huge par save. I don't know that Yako's got it in him. Like I'll be honest. Like tough. I'm like that. Like I'm picturing him having a late weekend tee time and making that like crucial par to save momentum when he gets in trouble. I don't know that he's got it in him in a way like other guys I'm betting this week. I have more faith in pulling that off. But I'm a stan. I'm there for it. So I'm still there. The numbers are large. I'm a believer in the talent. I'm still on the team.
There was a moment in time at Aronimink where I started to believe. And then I look like 27 years old. He's won 12 times as a pro. All over the world. Australia, Korea, Mexico, Canada, West Virginia, Los Angeles. He's done it a lot of places. So we'll see. He's got to pass the test this week.
But I swear there's not many guys. If there's like, I don't want to do this. If he wins, he could like honestly make it like he was on a different golf course. That's like how much I believe in him. But I don't know. That's a big ask. Appreciate you, Joe. As always,
Absolutely.
have a good one. Enjoy Father's Day. That means you got to stay home or go wherever and just watch golf and say that's what we're doing. Sorry.
That's it. See you, man. Thanks.
Later, buddy. Whew. Let's go. Keep on keeping on. Here we go. I like this face. Alex Blickel, FTN, the team at FTN, always crunching phenomenal stuff over there. Lead data analyst? Did I nail that right? Something close to that, right?
Something like that, yeah. Director of analytics.
Okay, close. Director of analytics, Alex Blickel won on the X machine. All right, Alex, US Open week. It's a lot of like words and eyeballs, or our eyeballs creating the words, but you're deep in the data. I know you don't you're never really interested in betting the top because you find win probability. You find guys with equal win probability with that, according to your data, that are triple the numbers. So I don't know. You want to share something with us before I get your pick?
Well, actually, there is someone near the top this week that I am interested in. I haven't made the bet yet, but Xander Schauffele is very interesting, and we'll talk a lot about what I'm seeing in the course and how I'm kind of approaching it from a course fit perspective. But he checks every single box for me this week. The two skill sets that I think are dominant this week are approach, play, and putting. Check. I want guys who are very good in winning conditions. Check. I want guys who are very good on difficult golf courses. Check. And so he like I said, he checks every single box.
And the Xander Schauffele win would send us to the Masters next year with his chance to win a Grand Slam. And we know there's quiet around Scotty this week on the Grand Slam because it's the first time, and it's you get a couple house money runs at it. In my limited history of living these Grand Slams, being only Rory's, obviously he's a different caliber of player or prospect player. Felt like his win the Masters, I guess because he blew it. So the second it was the only one left, it was all about the blown one, and it became like he didn't even get like a free run at his first one. Like it feels like Scotty's getting this week. But I don't want to waste that conversation with you unless you got something on it, because I just want your data.
No, I think it's a good point, and I love the call for Xander, and also on your show with Pat, I think Pat made an awesome point that Shinnecock is probably more like Open Championship courses than it is most US Open courses, and Xander's got the Open Championship win. So if you want that,
so who's got? There's not many people because Xander's got the full bag, and when guys have the full bag, we pay for it in the odds. Full bag that have proven they can win. You don't get to bet those guys.
Yeah.
Cheap big prices. But who's got the full bag? That you do think is like a poor man's Xander here that you might also be looking for, Alex?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him a poor man Xander, but Hideki has a lot of my attention. And the biggest difference between Hideki and most superstars, but particularly Xander, is that Hideki just doesn't drive the ball the way other elite players in the world do, both from a distance perspective and an accuracy perspective on the golf course. He's not anywhere near, elite. He doesn't gain in either of those categories. And so it should really help him that this is one of the only US Open courses in the rotation, not just of the last 10 years, but really like the entire US Open rotation of courses that's used that does not really benefit distance in particular, but it also doesn't really benefit accuracy more than many courses on tour either. And that's because partially it takes driver out of guys' hands. A lot of these holes, the fairways are set on like certain angles. And so if you are, let's say the hole moves from left to right, and so your drives are in danger of running through the fairway to the left. Well, this course has really well placed bunkering then down the right side. So if you're playing away from the trouble on the right, you run the risk of running through the fairway on the left, or vice versa. And what a lot of players do instead then is say, okay, I'm just not going to take on that test. I'm going to hit a long iron off the tee or a hybrid or a 3-wood. I'm going to lay it back in front of those bunkers, and now I'll take my chances from 180 instead of trying to push driver up to 130 or 140, something like that. And so it becomes a very like second shot type golf course, a lot like a lot of Open Championship courses, and that should really play into Hideki's hands. The other thing I really like about Hideki this week is that kind of under the radar, he's been a really, really good putter this season. Certainly in relation to who Hideki's been in the past, but like even just from a raw perspective, he's been a really good putter. And I think guys are going to need that a lot this week.
Okay, so we've got an earlier Hideki sell, but you are being far more bold in your Hideki sell, Alex. So give us the pick, give us the number.
Yeah, top 10, and you can shop around to get plus 630 on this one. I also like the top 5 and the top 10, by the way, but I think this is one where I feel so strongly that he's a great fit for the course, more so than I trust him under the gun and to actually turn out the win out of it. And so I just want what is in my mind a little bit more conservative of a bet with the top 10 rather than going to the top 5 or the win.
Money to be made on Hideki Matsuyama this week. I know you, Alex, so it couldn't have been too easy narrowing it down to just one. He just wants one. So let's give us something else that I know is in your bag of tricks right here that you'd be happy to share.
Yeah, let's go to Cam Smith, because it's fun to be able to talk about him again, right? Like he's been basically irrelevant for a while, a couple years now, but since he made the coaching change, it seems like he has his game back in order. The iron play looks like it's really good again, and that's such a key for him. Like Hideki, he's not good off the tee, and so you put him on a golf course like this, it's a bit of an equalizer for him compared to the other best players in the world. Love that for him. The other aspect is, like I mentioned, that putting is really predictive, putting and approach play. I think the putting signal is really kind of intuitive actually for US Opens. And I saw a clip this morning of Xander on the 11th hole. He missed the green, or he was just practicing that shot. And you just see like how severe the false front is in front of him. The mound he took putter, just trying to putt up to a hole, and how difficult that shot is. And what you realize is, like, on a lot of these short game shots that guys are going to have around this golf course, it's possible to get the ball really close. But if you're trying to get the ball close and you miss your spot by 3 feet, you're going to be on the wrong side of a slope. It's running all the way down to, 50 feet away, off the green, down a slope, into a bunker, whatever. And so a lot of guys around the green are going to purposely play to 8 feet by the hole, 10 feet left of the hole, something like that. And so you're just going to get tester after tester for pars. Birdie putts are going to be difficult to hole. And so you just get like so many more putts than in a typical week from the range that is actually predictive and less random for putting. And so that's why I think putting is going to be so important. And obviously Cam Smith probably up there with, Denny and Sam Burns for who the actual best putter on planet Earth is.
And it's a common thread through everyone that's won the US Open here. from Floyd to Pavin to Goosen to Brooks. I think I'm forgetting one, but just exceptional putters. A few of them like world class for their eras. You know, Cam, you know, how we would talk about his putting in the future would fit right along even at near the top of that list. Alex, always appreciate you taking the time with me on the extravaganza here, buddy. Hideki Matsuyama plus 650. Money to be made on Hideki Matsuyama at Shinnecock this week. Have a good one, Alex. Hope golf season is treating you well.
Right back at you.
All right. We're through the first hour here, Jay. How you feeling?
Feel good.
Feeling good.
Feel good. Alex is awesome. Had him on the show before.
Yep.
Talked to him before. When you bailed on us, by the way, to golf.
I may.
But as much as I love your golf analysis, blessing in disguise because he's also very good at what he does.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're the different. I mean, yeah, I'd rather have Alex on.
Well, I think people like you, Jeff.
I understand, but it's a different sort of thing. And if, you know, actionable Alex, we'll leave it at that.
I like that.
We're going up. We're not stopping though. We're staying. We're going back to the.
Guest.
We're going back to the team at BetSperts and the other half of the deep dive podcast, Andy Molitor. We had, well, I didn't, but Jason was talking to Drew an hour ago. I guess the boys were breaking down some footy over there. Do you remember? Does Drew have a pick? People are listening. Do you have a soccer pick from Drew? You want to give us, Jay?
Oh, for soccer?
today,
oh my
yeah.
God, there were so many. Go watch the show. We gave out like
Okay. Go watch this
4 or 5 futures, and then I think 3 picks for today's games.
And I guess technically you could leave that and go watch and then just watch this on replay later. I overheard Norway though.
We need Holland goals. A lot of Erling Holland goals.
I like Christoph Reiten this week, so there's that.
There you go.
Andy, what's up, buddy? Follow Andy on Twitter at AndyMSFW, over at BetSperts. Those guys always rocking out the goods. I got my rabbit hole up here, so I'm supporting. His mic's
Extravaganza.
perfect.
Is it
Sorry.
perfect?
Yeah, now it is.
Okay. It should be. This thing costs a pretty penny here. Yeah, Extravaganza week, cock week. It's US Open. Love it. I do love cheering for the course a little bit. So it's always fun watching them struggle once a year. So
There's nothing
let's
better
go.
than getting to cheer for the course if one of your bets is in the clubhouse in like primo position. And now you're just watching everyone else have to finish the round and you feel so good, you know, seeing your name like stapled near the top there on the Chiron bug as everyone else is going through the shit. So that's
Chiron,
the good.
look at you, that industry term. Nobody's
yeah,
saying
I
Chiron,
guess.
and I love that. No, it's a little different than, you know, your guy's 10 back and he shoots 8 under for the day, and you just know like the course is playing easy. It's not going to hold. Somebody's going to pass him up, and he doesn't have a real chance. But you can win by attrition here, definitely. And I'm hoping for an even par winner here at this event. Honestly, I think the last time. No, it was the Masters. I gave out like the overall winning score. I wanted 12 under or worse. So Rory's bogey on 18, that helped quite a bit. Put a little money in my pocket, but I looked at that again, and it was like basically 2.5 strokes under par for the winner this week. And man, with the winds kicking up like that, I'm probably going to play the over for the total score again. That's not the prop I gave you, but I keep looking at that, and honestly, if I'm going to cheer for the course, I might as well bet it as well.
I mean, they got it last year, and it required like that incredible JJ Spawn putt and like some other crazy stuff. So yeah, if I was forced to play it, I would take your side there. I would take your side there on the over. Did you make any like betting reactions to the tee sheet today, or you think that's all a little overblown?
I'm gonna dig a little more into like the wave advantage stuff. I don't know. It's gonna be nasty the whole time, and it's not like, you know, people have pointed out some of the watering that they're doing already. It's kind of that superficial watering. I don't think there's gonna be, hey, it played so much easier in the morning on this day. It looks pretty nasty the whole time. The winds are gonna kick around. It's gonna be fast. You talk about with Blickley, you're talking about some of those false fronts, like just holding these greens at any point during the day is going to be tricky, especially for some of the guys who, maybe aren't the longest off the tee, or they're clubbing down, or they're, God forsake, they're hitting out of the rough and trying to find these greens. Like, it's going to be tough all day long. So I don't usually make a lot of adjustments for, once you see the tee sheet. If anything, maybe for some first round leader bets. And, at a place like this with how hard it's going to play, honestly, it's just going to be throwing some darts for me. I'm going to listen to the people that do the first round betting a lot better than me, like Cummings and some of the other guys that put that stuff out there every week.
Well, shout out to first round. FanDuel has the promotion where anyone you bet, you use your token, and if they end up being first round leader, you just get paid in full for your outright bet. Jason said that's bad for me because I don't bet first round leader. I don't like thinking about it. I like thinking Sunday hero, Andy. I don't put my head in Thursday warrior, and I don't need another market that is like Foss outright that I'm just going to like dump over bet into. So it's like for my own peace of mind and sanity, I don't play it, but I love this promotion because it can, if someone who I think is going to be a Sunday warrior hero, a Sunday hero ends up being a Thursday warrior, I'll get paid. So I'm a fan, and I'm going with Patrick Reed for my token on that one.
Yeah, I like some longs. So somebody asked us about Akshay today, and it's like Akshay's putting up like an 82 at some point or worse. Like he's having a bad round here. But
high round of the tournament.
But he could also he is a nice fit, and I think he can have a couple low rounds here, especially if he's got to make the weekend to have a couple of them. But he's somebody we mentioned for that. It's like, man, I don't know if I could bet him to win this tournament, but it's definitely some stabs you can take for first round leader here, especially if you're getting full chili for it over at FanDuel like that. Take advantage of those promos. Kind of think about how they fit your card or your mindset for this tournament.
Okay, Andy. Lay your bet on us. I know what it is, and I know you're picking on a guy who has a lot of success lately. The Masters, Memorial, last year's US Open. Some people thinking it's his time. Andy's saying not so fast. Not so fast. A reliable old Yeller is going to hold the line here. Lay it on us.
I did play, and I played him outright. I played Russell Henley outright as well, but I played him over Sam Burns in a matchup. Just price wise, I thought Henley should be a bigger favorite. And Blickel pointed this too. Like, you do got to be a good putter, but I need a more rounded game. And Sam Burns he's going to make some hay on the greens. He's always going to do that. But I went to so many different splits, whether it was wind, whether it was tough courses, whether it was tough fields. And I couldn't get around some of the driving stuff because he's going to have some wayward drives here. And man, honestly, if you really hit it offline here off the tee, you're more likely to get Lyme disease than par. This stuff, you saw some of the videos. This stuff's like, it's almost waist high on a short dude. So there's going to be spots where it's just a full stroke penalty if you're not putting it on the fairway here. So I know I like putting. I need some around the green stuff. I definitely need good iron players, and you're going to get that in spades with both these guys. But a lot of the off the tee stuff was a little worrying for me for a guy that makes a lot of his total strokes gained are found in the short game. And man, I know we're going to have some really, really ugly 7 to 8 foot putts here that we're going to get really mad at our guys about. But I'll give Henley the benefit of the doubt, especially they were both minus 112. I expect him to be a bigger favorite in that one.
Yeah, and as Henley has sort of crashed down like the odds board, it's not Henley. Burns has sort of crashed down the odds board this year leading into this event. I actually think you found something. I like it a lot. I think it presents an opportunity. I'd be willing to pick on Sam Burns with Russell Henley, who, like others, I'm also going to bet to win.
Yeah, and I'm a Sam Burns guy. I like the guy. I'm not a Rory guy either, and I bet him. I'm all upside down and backwards this week, Jeff.
What do you just give me a minute on the Rory bet? He is the elite that I'm considering. I'm considering betting. I just almost have decided I'm going to flood the zone more in the middle. Just take more bodies in this one.
It's just a price thing. Like looking at what Scotty's been doing for the last 4 or 5 months compared to Rory, and we make the comps that they have to play well at Augusta, they have to play well at link style courses too, and the gap between Rory and Scotty is just too big for me. I think he should be more like 9 or 10 to 1. He's 1350. when I shopped around. So I'm going to have to play the guy. And obviously he has the chops to win at a place like this.
All right. Thanks so much, Andy. Jason's got something for you.
I just got a Chad is asking what MSFW stands for in your Twitter.
Mostly safe for work.
Okay.
Drew came up with that.
I like that. I thought it was
because we keep it cleanish.
Mhm.
It's like PG-13, but
Yeah.
80s PG-13. We can get away with more.
I like that. The guesses were Mr. Safe for Work or Molitor Safe for Work. So we
Muller's safe
over
for
2.
work.
0-2.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Best of luck making it through this, Jeff, and enjoy the weekend, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy. Let's go Russell Henley over Sam Burns. That is one I approve, as I'm also sitting on an outright bet for Russell Henley. Jay, let's just keep loading them up here. No rest. Finish up. I guess a big soccer game coming up at the end of the hour that you, I think, want to be done for.
Whatever.
Okay, whatever. That's
what it
fine.
is.
No, I think we're making great time. Perfect schedule.
We're making great time.
Up next, Chris Falica of Fox Sports. Chris, 1-0 on the extravaganzas this year. Chris joined us in the Masters, had my favorite prop, low senior, Zach Johnson, which I got to say, for the bath I took that week, that one actually saved me big time. So shout out to Chris for that. We were like-minded there. Thanks for joining me again, Chris.
What's going on? Yeah, well, we better be finished by 3 p.m. Eastern time for France and Senegal. That it's going to be a terrific match. It should be very. And I'll give you a little extra. I played a little first half draw at plus 140 in that match. Senegal's good. France, I think, all the infighting that they have, this could be a very uncomfortable match for the French. So there's a bonus sports pick for you here at 3 o'clock.
All right. First half drawn. I mean, I don't know anything other than to know that some of these better teams, they're more planning on like peaking in July.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in June.
Exactly. And I think that's the situation here as well. France will work their way into the tournament just kind of like Spain did yesterday. But anyway, let's head to my neck of the woods. I grew up on the east end of Long Island, so I am quite familiar with the South Fork of Long Island, Shinnecock. And I was talking with my good buddy Justin Ray before, who's out there and checking the weather reports with my parents as well. And it does sound like it's going to be pretty windy and, as Justin put it, properly firm. I asked him if we thought we were going to get, like when we would cover the Open Championship, one of the things we would always look for before making our wagers was kind of like, are we going to get that morning, evening wave, depending on when you started? And my thought is, in his thought as well, is it's just going to be pretty brutal on Thursdays. I'm really curious to see what they post for a lot of these round scores. I would think over is going to be popular for a lot of them. And that kind of leads to my favorite bet of the tournament is the over 277.5 for the winning score. Like, who's getting a 300 here to win? Like, I think you could probably poll 85, maybe 90% of the entrants and said, if you could sign up for even par right now, would you? And the answer would be yes. If you go back historically and look at the US Open in Shinnecock, and Justin put out the tweet before, over 600 players have teed it off in the US Open in Shinnecock, and 3 have finished under par. Like, unless something really dramatically changes, like the greens are not in good shape. You had a green die a couple of years ago during the tournament. They were just aerated, so it's going to be very difficult to putt on these greens. So I think over 277.5. Shop around for that. You can find that out there. Is my favorite individual prop of the tournament.
I'm totally in agreement with you on that one, Chris. And shout out to Justin Ray, who we saw this morning. Jim Furyk, right, is made part of the squad for the next Ryder Cup team. Looking forward to that, and some good thinking there. The boys at USA Golf onboarding Justin. So in speaking to Justin or your familiarity with the property, we are not betting this thing like a typical US Open where I just want to like load my guys up with Dustin Johnson and poor man versions of a Dustin Johnson to go out and find me a US Open win. This does feel like it's going to play maybe more like an Open Championship, correct?
Yeah, no, it does. And I think it leads it to be a little bit more wide open. And I missed a lot of your conversation there with Andy. I hopped on late. So you and Andy are anti Sam Burns here? Is that what I'm together?
I'm more like pro Russell Henley. So
okay.
I was putting air in the tires of Russell Henley on that one. But Burns, between last year's Open, the Masters, even Memorial a couple weeks ago, Burns is trending, and I guess so is his price.
So I like him this week quite a bit. I mean, you brought up last year, he really got screwed with that ruling, which kind of sent him into a total tailspin. But the way he kind of went through a little bit of a struggle period, I think, after that. And then recently he has been playing great. And I don't think distance ultimately matters. Like it's not the end all here on this course. It's more just about staying out of the ridiculous rough. So while the greens are going to be tough, you would tend to think a better putter would have a little bit more of an edge, even if it's going to be difficult. And certainly lag putting is no three putts or no three putts on par fives, no two pars are a lock here. But Burns top 20 plus 140. Plus 300 top 10 on FanDuel. That's something that I really like this week. I think he's has a great. I'm not a big outright guy at the start of the week pre-flop to bet these things just because so much could happen. But I think once you get into the tournament, maybe after the first round, take a look as well. But Burns is someone that I am definitely high on this week.
And there's so many. This isn't the Masters in terms of how few guys are here, and your make the miss to cut parlays are usually pretty chalky, and someone can sort of explode them. I got a feeling that you've got a lot of like heavy players to potentially be packing their bags early this week, and that's probably a smart bet. Like you bet a small handful of high end guys at some of these prices. We know the variable of this course. We already know on Thursday, take your guess at who it's going to be. Some of these guys are going to get blown out of here out of the gate.
Correct. And especially with the win, all it's going to take are a couple of holes where the wind throws you into the thick stuff and you're posting triple bogey and you're really behind the scenes. But my favorite thing to do in the US Open is look at a lot of these big name guys to miss the cut because you've got so many people and the cut is minimal. You look at a guy like John Rahm at plus 270. Yeah, he had a great PGA and finished up strong in the Masters. But at the same time, he's someone who can get a little bit wild off the tee. He can run a little hot. Who to say if he goes out and posts a 76, he's going to be able to bounce back in the second round and go out there and make the cut. Tommy Fleetwood is a popular name because he played so well the last time he was here, but he hasn't been playing super. He's plus 230 to miss the cut. Ludwig Oberg is another guy everyone thinks he's ultimately going to get that win. He's another guy who can kind of miss a lot of fairways and put himself in bad position. I know you're high on Russell Henley, but his performance this year hasn't necessarily mandated. He missed the cut at the PGA. He's almost $2 to miss the cut here. Brooks Koepka, who knows how his hand is after withdrawing at the Canadian Open last week. He's another guy, won it last time it was here. People are high on him, but he's plus 166 at FanDuel to miss the cut. Justin Thomas, another guy who is kind of had a resurgence this year, but he's still plus 152. Those are just a couple of names out there where if you play 5 or 6 guys like that and you get 2 of them, you're coming out ahead. But yeah, take maybe 4 or 5 guys, throw them in a buy 2 or buy 3 round robin, and you could be off and running. I love taking a shot with the big names to miss the cut at the US Open because you do get a ton of randomness and you get the opportunity for some of the guys who you wouldn't necessarily think to make the cut, wind up making the cut, and then you think of a lot of guys who ultimately you think are contenders that won't be around there for the weekend.
Awesome, Chris. Great stuff. Have a great week. Shout out to your friends, I guess, back home on property.
Absolutely, yeah. It should be a great time out there. And the one matchup I'm going to give you as well before I go, we'll move it along. But I like Gary Woodland over Nikolai Hogard as well.
Okay,
in a tournament matchup. So just try and wedge that in there as well.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that one either. Have a great one, Chris. Appreciate you taking the time, man.
Take care, Jeff. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All the best. Chris Felica at Fox Sports, or from the Fox Sports team. He's got his hands in all different sports and wagering, from college football, horse racing, golf, my favorites, and I guess soccer. Gave us the first half draw, France, Senegal, in the spirit of, I guess, all those draws. People will be really tilted today if these games draw again, it seems.
I feel like it's the other way around, no? Everyone's going to, like, all the lemmings are going to be running towards the draw, and then there might not be none. First half draw, by the way. Very different.
Yeah, first half.
Full game.
Very different. Very different.
But some of these lemmings might be running to full game draws and just get absolutely cooked.
Yeah. All right. Let's move along here. One of my favorites, at Tee Off Sports, Spencer Aguiar. I think I just botched that pretty good.
No, Aguiar. I think it sounded pretty good on my end.
Okay, good. I don't know. My tongue got caught there. Spence, what's up, buddy? US Open week. I think one of everyone's favorites, right? We don't got that perfect, pristine master situation, and a little more prestige than the PGA Championship. I guess I'll ask you: are you expecting the USGA to stay out of the way this week? Am I naive to think that they're just going to let the course and the players be the stars?
That's what the betting odds would say right now. I saw a thing this morning that we were looking at. I think it was under 2.5 players that would be under par at the end of the week. So, I mean, that's my hope, Jeff. I think we, as you just said, we share a very similar belief that the US Open is the best major, and it's my favorite major to watch and bet on every single year. And I think because the USGA, when they do stay out of the way and you let this be something that is truly won by the players, this is one of the better tournaments to bet on always. So I'm excited about this week.
I don't think there's a better tournament in golf. Well, the Open is right there. But when we can get wave integrity at the US Open and the Open Championship, there's nothing I like more in sports. I like more in sports. Now, when you're betting, sometimes you're biased to how you want. You don't want wave integrity if your guys are in the clubhouse sitting pretty. I get that, but as a golf fan, I need wave integrity. Doesn't always happen, and there's going to be someone on Thursday, maybe a handful of players who catch that good pocket, right? They're on the course during the best 2-hour window, and they're able to make a couple birdies, which lets them finish 1 under par or something, and they're sitting pretty. Before I get to your prop though, Spence, you want to just share anything with me into the player profile that your data is saying to lean into this week, or is it just this place can reward all the types?
Yeah, I mean, it's a boring answer. I'm sure a lot of people have given this answer, but it's a fair challenge, and I think that's why it's such a beloved venue on tour. Good shots are going to get rewarded. Your bad shots get punished. I don't think there is a specific game type that is removed from the equation to start the week, and that's something that 99% of courses worldwide fail to do. So you're always going to have some data biases that come into play, but I don't think we see it as much here at Shinnecock, and it's I don't want to spend too long on this take, Jeff, and I don't know where the rest of the industry lands right now with this, but I kind of have this weird feeling that's starting to build, and it happened in my model this week where for all the negative takes on Scotty Scheffler, where he's yelling at Ted Scott and he's yelling at media in the space, good friend of mine, I don't know if I can name names on here, but I don't even know if he wants to be named for being yelled at, but there's been this testy Scotty Scheffler version, and there's been a lot of golfers, whether it be the Matthew Fitzpatricks or the Cameron Youngs or all these names that have really propelled themselves up betting boards and propelled themselves into this world of people are betting them. I kind of keep landing on this takeaway that it is still Scotty Scheffler's tournament to lose. And you see this from the data return that I got inside of my model for all of the negative marks that we can talk about and all this perceived bad underachieving play. He was by far and away the best player when I reweighed the metrics for Shinnecock Hills over the last 24 rounds. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here that a lot of people are not really talking about. And we've seen this number move from, Scotty was what, Geoff, 3-1 for a lot of these tournaments, even less than that. And understand you get a full 156-man field and a lot of the volatility that we can talk about, but 6.5, 7-1 when you shop around. I never really go to the top of the board, but my numbers really like Scotty this week.
Yeah, and to your point, the number it's getting bigger. I mean, it's not, he's still the favorite and it's still like 650, maybe finding sevens. But, from a percentage point standpoint, that's a big jump from plus 450.
Betting is all about margins. And, I always thought the prices on Scotty were maybe closer than a lot of the general public believed them to be to begin with. And I understand that Scotty hasn't won in months, but I never had this big outrage that we had these massive discrepancies. Like, a couple points here and there, but all of a sudden you get a double the price of what we're used to. And I think for Scotty, what I am hoping here with the ticket in hand on him is that nobody hits locations and targets better than Scotty when he's on. And, we can talk about Shinnecock of this, 70% of fairways are hit, but there's a reason why it's a difficult scoring course at the end of the day. And Scotty's going, in my opinion, to be able to club down off the tee, hit his locations, put an iron in hand, hit his location there. And he does that at a better rate than most other players. So I kind of like him for that reason.
It is dangerous to think about Scotty Scheffler on like a course that's going to, maybe crown a winner at even par or 1 under. When sometimes he's going to miss some birdie putts, going to frustrate us. And the thing with Scotty in some of the US Opens like Pinehurst, or when he can get consistency out of the rough, or at least feel like he knows what's going to happen, then it's kind of unbeatable. Right? It's like those patchy situations at Pinehurst where his skill set or what he's so good at, I guess he just fell back to the pack.
I'm hoping here too, like he's able to control his own destiny a little bit off the tee. If he wants to hit a bunch of fairways, he's going to be able to do so if his game is on. And there is some luck that's going to come into play with some of these thick lies, but there's an argument to be made that if you go super wayward, maybe you get a little bit more of the trampled down stuff than if you miss close, which that would be the negative for Scotty Scheffler here. But I'm just hoping that just his ability to hit a target, hit a location kind of can ramp itself up a little bit further at a venue like this.
Awesome. All right, Spence, before we get you out of here, we need your prop. So lay it on us. A lot of big talk about who might win or how it might play, but we just need to rack up a little win here. And you're going back to a reliable fella for you, I think.
I am. I brought this for the PGA Championship, and I tweeted you about this, Geoff, after Andrew Putnam had made the cut at the PGA Championship. But 2-2 on the show, had Maverick McNeely at the Masters to make the cut, brought over Andrew Putnam to make the cut for the PGA Championship. Going to go back to Andrew Putnam here to make the cut. Plus 105 was the number I got. And, trending into that PGA Championship and even a little bit past that up until last week, he had made 10 consecutive cuts on tour. And all of a sudden last week, you saw him come out on Thursday and shoot 5 over par, ends up missing the cut, did fire a 2 under on Friday, which I think is noteworthy to this entire thing. And, there's an argument to be made, Geoff, that you'd like to see the ball go through the hoop before one of the biggest tournaments in the year. You don't want to be shooting 5 over at the RBC Canadian, and now all of a sudden you end up at the US Open. And people can get blown off this course very quickly, but I think there is at least a story that can be told here with Putnam that, one, you get this enhanced price because he missed the cut. And I think that alone is where the narrative always comes into play. I'm always going to try to find value, but I think the bigger takeaway is, and for anybody who's listening to this show, I'm sure everybody knows this, but the Monday before the US Open, that's the longest day in golf. It's where all these guys, your top 60 players in the world are already qualified, but there's a lot of names and respectable names that are fighting for these final US Open spots. And Putnam found himself in this situation to where 36 holes wasn't enough, had to go into a playoff, ended up playing 45 holes between Monday and Tuesday. And I don't think it's the 45 holes that are necessarily the problem in the output here. I think it's more so like his lack of prep that he got for TPC Toronto. Didn't get to that course till late, didn't get to study it. We see it all come to fruition on Thursday where he shoots 5 over par and he bounces back on Friday. But I still think that this is one of the hotter golfers in the world, at least for what we're talking about in the specific range that you are getting him based off of what the price is in the market. Like, you know, when I talked about McNeely, he was the most mispriced player in my model. That doesn't mean that it thought he was going to win the golf tournament, but just to make a cut to come inside of a certain range in my model. Putnam at the PGA Championship was that. And we get Putnam again here. Like, he's a fringe top 40 player for me in all iterations of how I built my model. Back-to-back US Open cuts here that have landed inside the top 45. Anything in that range is perfect. Hopefully we can have a pressure-free made cut, but you know, I think you can get a little bit juicier on some of these. Like I know Chris was talking about just before this, that there's a lot of the top end of the board where you can try to fade. And I do agree with that sentiment as a whole, but I think that there are certain golfers where the market was very weak on to begin the week because of this perceived volatility, maybe even more into like the -120, -130 range. But here for Putnam, I'll give this as my best bet, +105 to make the cut.
All right, Spencer. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Find Spencer at Tee Off Sports. Subscribe to his work. Great stuff. Always some of the best information out there on golf, week in, week out, betting, DFS, all of it.
I appreciate you, Jeff. I appreciate everything you do for this community.
All right. Thank you, Spence. Enjoy your US Open, buddy. Jason, you got something?
Yeah, Jeff, it's magical how you've been like drifting to your camera right, but your left.
I got attacked by mosquitoes. People have been noticing. I've been like attacking my arm.
But you're like drifting. I'm trying to like adjust the camera. Just scooch yourself over a little bit.
Sorry.
You're good. Let's get you centered. Let's get back on track.
Now maybe people notice, but yeah, I've just been going at mosquito bites this whole show. I got it bad this week. Too much sun, too much booze. All right, let's keep her going. Train doesn't stop. Bringing on someone who I really enjoy having on both the shows thus far. He's back for a third at Golden Pants. I think it's Golden Pants 013 or 13.
That is correct.
Which one?
013.
All right, good. Nice.
Link is in the chat.
Got it on my first guest, co-host of the Risk Takers Pod, one of the best podcasts out there from, people who are like very smart. Very smart. Just see the whole thing differently than I do. Let's bring him right in. GP, let's go. US Open.
Let's go, Jeff.
I'll go right into it with you. An event like this, you haven't been here since 2018. How do you go about getting your data or like doing it week in, week out on the PGA Tour at venues we're at all the time? The Masters, there's no, there's endless data and information, and you know exactly what you need to do. How do you go about attacking this week and the volatility of that we see great players face at the US Open all the time?
Yeah, it's a fun puzzle to do, like a low data problem. But basically, like, I went back and looked at the 2018 data and I watched the broadcast. So my wife was like, what golf tournament was on this morning? I was watching like Brooks and DJ play like the last round. And I was like, oh, I'm watching something from 2018 on YouTube. And she was like, wow, you're really cool for doing that.
You're not the first person, to say, we've got people shouting out that they spent time watching 2004 even.
That one, well, because they did Arena right after 2004. But basically, like, the one thing I wanted to see was like how many drivers and non-drivers they hit. So that's one important input into my like off the tee model. And there's a lot of like club down.
Was Brooks hitting driver? I mean, yeah. I don't want to rewatch Brooks? That one. I had a Tommy ticket and I don't want to rewatch it.
Oh God.
I mean, the broadcast is fun. He's setting records, but you can't be bad. You can't be hard on a guy who sets records, but you can just remember the last one, and that's how I choose to.
Well, it's really bad to watch the broadcast having a Tommy ticket, watch it over, because then you'll see him like miss a short birdie on like
I've heard
10 or
about this.
something,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, there it was. It's
yeah.
just
Oh,
one
but
stroke,
I
and
already
then
said when you score that well, you can't. I don't want to relitigate everything, but the
Sure.
last putt, I think is fair
Yes.
game to relitigate.
That one is, especially after how good that last shot was. Oh my god, it could be really like one of the all-time great shots in major history. Like, but anyway,
Yeah, we move on. Are you? I mean, I know you're like deep into the tee sheet and the weather. How are you going about this? I mean, you what did you take from it this morning?
I definitely like early late. Like I want my guys going out early Thursday. And it seems like so my prop we'll get to is a early late guy. But I think this sets up nicely for Scotty, who's in the early late wave as well. And yeah, I mean, like,
was there someone you wanted to bet who you saw the wave? You're just like, we're just out. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe it's good, but Patrick Cantlay.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I like
me too.
Cantlay.
And like, let's not forget, he had a putt, I think, to tie for the lead on the middle of Saturday at the PGA Championship.
Right.
And then he doesn't even like finish like how he finished when you like at this moment in time, he had like a 10-footer to be here with like a live line of like 8-1. And then an hour later, whatever. I don't want to.
He's gone. It's kind of like when he like kind of was a factor at what was it, the Masters Tiger one.
But like that was before like those guys played the par 5. So, but yeah, that was a bit of a tease.
But yeah, I like Cantlay this week. He is switching to the Spider. It seems like, which only brings good things. But he's in the bad wave. I don't know. I think sometimes like I think at the US Open, it's hard to overrate waves. Like it is a course where it really matters. Shinnecock's exposed. The margins are thin on hitting the green or not, and the penalties are super high. So I do think like the wave split matters here more than another course where it's blowing 15, 20, like here it matters more than if it's blowing 15, 20 at like Detroit.
All right, before I get your pick, because I know you're one of the deep in the data guys that just can't resist because there's a lot of reputation built into it. And now the injury, like, were you upset to see Brooks withdraw with the injury because that would only maybe hurt the number when you're one of those guys in the community who just want to step in front of him on majors just because how great he can be, but it's just like blindly overrated by, I guess, the betting boards.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm the highest on Brooks of the nerds. That's like, I have like a non-data, like
the height of the nerds who still step in front of him.
Yeah. Like it doesn't always get me to the point where I'm betting him. But I really think like, I do think he's clearly better than like a lot of your like basic models understand. And I think he's clearly hurt because if you think I heard this thing, it was like, oh, Brooks is, he didn't want to like play in this bad weather. He get to the US Open. Like, I think we forget like Brooks has to like get points and finish these tournaments. Like, so for Brooks to withdraw in the Canadian Open, that is
he wants to finish the rounds or else he has to play during NFL Sundays. And he doesn't he wants to limit how many NFL Sundays he's got to play golf during. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he definitely does. Yeah. Like
although he was
never withdrawing from that tournament for any other reason than like injury, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I feel bad. I love Brooks. I'm in on his comeback. And I want to see him back in the mix. So that was disappointing, honestly, just from a golf fan perspective. But yeah, I don't think there'll be as much Brooks as normal events.
All right, GP, give us the pick.
All right. So my pick, did it move? Okay. My pick on, can I say
Yes.
Okay. On FanDuel. Is JJ Spawn.
Ooh.
Top former champion plus 1,300.
Okay.
It gives me a little access to the Brooks injury, because Brooks is in that category, and the Bryson injury maybe. But I really think it's a bad course for Bryson and Rory. I do not like them. Spawn is in the good wave. I like this course for him a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I have that number as good without even bumping Brooks for injury, like quite good. And Data Golf, who's lower on me, has it as good too, or like lower on Spawn. So I think it can't be that bad.
Jason?
Sorry, that was a stretch.
Awesome. I like that. I like where your head is at. Obviously, you know, maybe you're a little afraid of Rom, but once you do that calculation on Brooks and Bryson, and if you've got it as not something ideal for Rory, just JJ Spawn, you just hope plots
like
around
it.
clean, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you know, he's been there, he's done it. Like I'm not nervous about JJ just being like a complete non-factor mental case in the majors. So, you know, I think the course setup's great for him, and he's obviously proven he can play in these bigger tournaments.
Awesome. Thanks, GP. Risk Takers Pod. Now, Jason, now this is a real hand up.
Now this is a real hand up.
Okay.
Close out question.
Jason.
Yeah, I'm good. You already know what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah. Jason, I wanted to say, what's my handicap? I was listening to a podcast last night when I was going to sleep, and like I forgot to hit the timer. So I woke up in the middle of the night to Circles Back because it was like on my queue or something. And I just remember thinking like, Jason's making some really good points right now, but I don't remember like which part of the podcast. So I'll have to go back. But like that was a thought I had. At, like, 4 a.m.
appreciate
today.
that so much. You might have been dreaming though, because I don't think anyone's ever said that to me. But anyways, handicap update. Appreciate you, GP.
Handicap 2.1. I had a really good one of my best round. I shot a 71 from the tips at my course a couple days ago, which moved me down. So now I could, if I wanted to, try and donate some money in a USGA mid-am qualifier. So we'll see.
Awesome. Thanks, GP.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Jason, we're going to push the ad one more. I'll do ad read after the next guest.
Sounds good.
And you asked him for his his handicap, which is a 2. I want you to know I've never broken 90 from the box in front of the tips at my club, which I probably shouldn't be playing because my friends hit it longer, but I want to tee off where the group I'm with is teeing off from. I knew my math was mathing. I'd shot 90 from there before, and last weekend I shot a 90 with a triple on the last.
Wow. So you're telling me you're not clutch?
I literally, after the whole thing, it really is tough to close a golf thing, be it like a tournament or your own situation. It's a thing. It's real. Okay. Speaking of real winner, coming up next. There's only one tournament happening in the world this week, although he'll probably tell me something about the ladies and have a winner there too. You know, when I lose a US Open Bell. So Baroff won in like the minor tours or the ladies. Ryan Baroff, what's up, buddy? How's it going? US Open.
I literally just posted LPGA and Challenge Tour still happening. Posted 5 minutes ago. So yes, good to be here, buddy.
Awesome. Yes, LPGA Challenge Tour still happening. Where are the ladies this week?
They are the Meyer LPGA Classic. I think they're in New Jersey. And again, no Nelly Corda, so maybe somebody can win. They're in Michigan actually, but yeah, no Nelly this week, so that's a nice change.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, excited for US Open week. I saw you bet Tommy Fleetwood to win the golf tournament.
We or me?
I haven't. Yeah, I saw you bet Tommy Fleetwood. Yes. I'll cry if Tommy Fleetwood wins. The moment I won't win any money, but there's still decisions to be made. I guess like if I go full hater, I feel like it'll give him a chance to win. So let me just hate for a moment. His current major record, like the last 3 or 4 years, is not what like the perception is. Granted, we're back at the place where it all happened, and you'd argue this U.S. Open and how people expect it to play can play into his hands. I love Tommy, so know when I say what I'm about to say. Like, he really he won a 30-man tournament that was real in the sense it was for a lot of money, but like no one actually thinks that's a real tournament. Like, it's real, right?
Fair.
Like, so,
Fair.
and then we haven't even been able to turn that over into something this year. Like, I'm hating on purpose. I'm hating. No, I shouldn't even verbalize I'm hating on purpose because then it defeats it. But I'm giving hater energy, and I want it all to come back at me. But like, tell me why in these like final 30 hours that I should just get on board. And I'm a
yeah. I mean, it's just, look, I mean, you know Tommy as well as anybody, but it's just not linear, right? It doesn't just go that way. It doesn't just go smoothly. I think one of the things, so the ball striking has just been awesome again this year, right? Like, even last week, you know, his weekend play was pretty troubling considering he had a good chance to win. Ball striking still great. And it just seems like his best results this year have been at places that I think will correlate decently with what we need here. You look at Memorial, you look at the Truist, you look at the Players, you look at Pebble Beach. Like, he's played well at those types of courses. Obviously, you know, he's played well here also. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm not ready to give up on what we saw last summer when it felt like he had found it. He was trending towards that and getting over the hump. And I think of all, well, we're going to talk about Birkdale too, but of all the major venues, I think this one fits in really, really well.
Yeah. I mean, this is when it's all like over and it doesn't break through. It's where we'll remember.
And there won't be any Sunday 63s. This course is not going to allow that. However, it's in there somewhere. So,
yeah, he doesn't even need a 63. He just needs to just like plod along clean for a few days, and then he's right there. And I watch it ride, like the putts from like 3 feet in front of the hole. They look perfect, and then they just graze, and so many of them for the same price can drop, and they just, you know, okay, we'll get the magic. We'll get the magic this week.
And I think it helps. You know, I don't expect the winning score to be under par, and if it is, you know, 1 or 2 under par, but probably going to be over par again. I just think this one suits him very, very well.
The Norwegians kick off their World Cup this afternoon. I know there's some people interested in studio. You are one of the few people, I guess on Sunday, we saw a lot of people running to some big Victor numbers.
Yeah.
You saw the ball striking in Canada. I mean, it was just a minor thing.
I bet him last week too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I bet him last weekend.
Yeah. And that's just like, you see ceiling ball striking from Victor, and that's enough for you to be like, you're chasing the ceiling of the outright. And if he misses the cut, that's the same as him finishing third if you're not placing each way.
Yep. And it's also, it's an addiction to Victor Hovland. I think you have very similar. Yeah. But I mean, I think with him too, you know, it was an outside force. You know, he went back to his old coach after API, and the number one thing that he's been working on was the off the tee game, because like he just completely lost it last year, especially towards the end of the year. And he's consistently gained off the tee. I think he lost at Aronimink like 0.1 or something off the tee, but he's gained every week since the Players off the tee. And if he's keeping it in play, we know what the iron play can do. He putts fine. Obviously has the upside in any event like this.
Awesome, Ryan. So, you know, feel free to share a couple of them if you got them, but give me your favorite prop here.
I'll give a couple because obviously you have to shop around. Not every book has everything. So I will say I got in very early this week on the nationality bets. I'm not going to talk about the low Dane market because I got a minus 225 on Nikolai. It's now at minus 400. So it's a head-to-head against Nicholas Norgard. So I'm going to skip that one. But yeah, my first one would be Griot. Low Argentinian is minus 150 is the best I saw. And then Matsuyama is low Japanese. I think he's minus 120, minus 110 right now. But parlay those together, you're over 2-1 on that. And like both of those are basically just 1 against 1. It's Griot against Toasty. I don't think anybody would pick Toasty over Griot at this golf course, how it's going to play. And then it's Matsuyama against Rio, who's just not playing great right now. I think he could play well here, but I think Matsuyama has won the low jet market in about 15 of the last 18 majors. So I expect that to continue here. The other one, I put together a quick top 20 parlay. There's some sites that let you do that. Other books don't let you do that. But Tommy Fleetwood, plus 100 or plus 110s are out there. Hatton, plus 175 to 180s are out there. And then Scheffler, I saw Scheffler as low as minus 240 today for a top 20, which seems very fair. He does have a morning tee time Thursday, which I like. But parlay those three together, and you're close to 7-1 on that top 20 parlay. So those make a lot of sense to me this week.
Nice. Like it, Rye.
The only other one I'll give out, I did post this earlier, but first tee time out on Thursday is James Nicklaus, New York native, has qualified for a couple US Opens. He won on the Korn Ferry Tour a couple months ago, I think. But I've got him top 20, 30, and 40. The top 20 was plus 2250. So it's a big, big number. And he is very capable of making this cut. So if there's a wave advantage, he is literally off at 635 on Thursday morning. Hopefully misses a lot of that wind and can post a good number. So
I like it.
Yeah.
There it is. Ryan's follow him. R Bear Off 427.
427.
Right?
You got it, buddy.
One of, I don't know if there's many better documented outright golf bettors than Ryan. You got something, Jay?
Chat. Link is in the chat for his Twitter account.
Link is in the chat for Ryan's Twitter. Appreciate it, Ryan. Have a great US Open this week. May the winners
buddy. Good
be
show.
yours.
Good luck this week.
Thank you. All right, so whether you're backing a favorite to come out firing or looking for a long shot to make an early statement, first round early win gives you the chance to get paid before the weekend even begins. Find your pick, use your token, and get in on first round early win for the U.S. Major only on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/progress to get started. The U.S. Major is a 4-day grind, but the first round early win, your outright winner could cash a bet just after one round. Use your token on any outright winner bet at Shinnecock. Then if your golfer's leading after the first round, your bet wins instantly and you get paid out early. That's right. Pick the golfer you think can top the leaderboard after opening round, and if they're out front when round one wraps up, you'll cash your outright bet winner right away. My pick is Patrick Reed. I'm thinking about Sunday heroes. But if he wants to be a Thursday warrior, they're going to pay me. And that works perfectly for somebody who doesn't bet first round leader.
You're right. You're right. That does work. I think I said it like is bad for you, but it might be good for you.
No, it's perfect for me.
It's perfect for you.
Because I don't want to reinvest in another market that's false outright. My brain is not wired to think of Thursday warriors. But if one of my Sunday heroes happens to be a Thursday warrior, I get paid.
That's honestly a great point. I didn't consider it like that. You get an extra out.
Get an out. I'm using it on Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed. Visit FanDuel.com/forward-progress to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation. Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus and present in DC and Kentucky or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Tokens are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including token expiration, max requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 sport in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Visit www.mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. 67. Anyways, go ahead, Jeff.
All right, let's go. We're at the back of the bus here, the back of the train. We're about to pull back into the station.
Where all the cool kids sit?
I guess where the cool kids are. Joined by Ian McMillan at Ian McBets, part of the SI betting team. I guess Oleski in this because it probably would have gone over the head of like pretty much everyone else we would have had on here today. Maybe I'm rubbing salt in the wound because I heard Jason like complaining earlier. Leafs make a trade 1 minute like after Hockey Night in Canada dies. Is that like just a cover up or something on either side there? A trade that people aren't happy about. Ian, are you happy about it?
I'm indifferent about it. I think it could go both ways. I think Leafs fans, I think we're just generally a miserable bunch. So I think a trade would have to be an unbelievably good trade. Like we'd have to rip off our opponent or the person we're trading with for Leafs fans to think it's a good trade. I think it's fine. I think it could work for us. It could work against us. I don't love the defenseman we got. 5'9", but he's an offensive guy, and analytic guys like offensive defensemen. So we'll see how it goes.
Jason?
No, you and I will talk about this at some point in the future. I don't know when, but I feel like now is not the right time. But
okay, fair
I'm
enough.
Curious to get your input.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe on a watch along.
You'll battle back
like
with
a Team Canada watch along. Maybe
okay.
Ian will join me for.
Yeah, I didn't get invited to a single in-person watch along while I lived about 5 minutes away from your guys' office. And the moment I move an hour away, I get invites. Come to the watch along. Come to the office. Come to the office. Like, it would have been nice when I lived 5 minutes away. I was there for a year. I didn't get a single in-office invite. Now they're coming in droves now that I live an hour away. It's crazy. Almost like that was on purpose.
Sorry.
It's like inviting someone to a wedding that you know like won't come, so you just like invite them.
No,
Right.
I want you there for every watch along. So I just don't get to make that call.
Ian, US Open, Shinnecock. Again, it's not the perfect pristine of Augusta, and far more prestige than the PGA Championship. So I think it's the sweet spot. What you say?
Yeah.
I didn't really ask a question. I didn't really ask you a question.
No,
so
you
let's
didn't.
let's just move this along
I'll
here.
say this: the U.S. Open to me is firmly number 2. I know it's your favorite major, Jeff. I've heard you say that, but Masters to me is still number 1.
It's hard to top the Masters because it is perfect and it's the first one. And I get it. Like you get those, you're just like at the conference final and Jim Nantz like drops some like Masters thing on you and you feel it like deep in you.
And there's no golf course that's as perfect as Augusta.
Yeah.
And I like that it's there every year. We don't have to worry about how the course is going to be set up. We know how it's going to be set up. We don't have to worry about where it's going to be at. We know where.
But these are betting problems.
In pristine condition.
Those are betting problems. Like, people without a wager this week. I know those are like foreign agents to people like you and I. But, I guess, we're not arguing. I'm not like throwing any shade on Augusta. I would never do that. They're the best. Major championship golf sacred. Favorite prop, Ian?
Favorite prop right away? Do I just get one? Do you? Let me ask you this: do you like keep a record of everyone's pick and then like?
Yeah, it's not like I'm not like Pizzola where it's gonna be on your like tombstone or something. Okay. I know that as someone that has, won the last 2 Super Bowl prop extravaganzas, but I think was on the struggle bus for a long time.
Yeah, so I'll give out one prop, and then I do want to mention one after.
Yeah, you can mention whatever you want, but I got to document on one.
Okay, the one I will document because this one is available at FanDuel, our friends over at FanDuel, and I think it is a very good price compared to most of the market. And I haven't tuned in the whole show. Has anyone talked hole-in-ones yet, Jeff?
No.
This is my favorite bet. Every time that I send it out in public, it burns me. So I'm sure we're going to get a hole-in-one before I even wake up on Thursday, because that's generally what happens. But no hole-in-one at -138 at FanDuel. I think that's a crazy good price for no hole-in-one at Shinnecock. One par 3 is 252 yards long. That's the second hole, so we can just cross that one off our list. Hole 7 and hole 17 are the ones where it could happen. There has been 2 in the past. There wasn't any in 2018. But still, these are tricky holes. Danger all over the place if you miss the green. So I think these golfers are just going to aim for the fat part of the green and not even try to hunt for the pins at most of these par 3s on most days. Obviously, this is pin location dependent. But, I'm pretty surprised you can get -138 on no hole-in-one. Now, it is the worst bet to have to cheer for. Betting on yes is way more fun. And like I said, anytime I put out this bet in public, I wake up Thursday and have notifications on my Twitter of everyone making fun of me. But I do really like that price at FanDuel -138.
And then you get this scare. Like, let's say you're just watching the tournament. It's the weekend. There's been no hole in one yet. You're off. You're on the internet, but you're like not on the internet. And they like, let's go to 17.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
here's this
exactly.
guy who's like 9 over, probably like 14 shots off the lead. And you're like, uh-oh. Like this thing, you're
exactly.
guaranteed to sweat because that thing is either burning an edge or going in. Or when you're just watching the leaders or something and you hear a roar and you've watched enough golf where you're like, I really hope that was like from a bunker. But you've watched enough golf to know like some of the different pitches in roars from property through like TV microphones that are just loitering that have
You
picked
hear
it
roar,
up.
and you're like, it's a loud one. I don't think it was loud enough for hole in one, though. I think that was a hole out from the bunker kind of roar.
Yeah.
It is truly a sweat for my fellow masochists who just
And
wanna
then
cause
every
themselves as much
time
pain as
you just go out for lunch on Friday, Ian, and you're like, okay, I'm going to keep tabs on the golf. You open your every time you open your notifications is a minor sweat because that hole in one could have happened from anybody at any time of the day. So any time you step away, it's a minor sweat when you come back to it.
Yeah, and when I tweet it out, I don't even have to get like a golf notification. I'll look at my Twitter and just see I have 25 Twitter notifications, and I'm like, well, someone got a hole in one because here's 25 people calling me an idiot on Thursday.
When
morning.
when your phone is lighting up like a Christmas tree on Friday, you're gonna know you know what happened.
Yeah. So
What else
minus
you got?
138 though, no hole in one, tough course.
The logic is sound.
Yeah.
But it's always so. Like someone to get it is mishitting it in luck boxing because they're not playing to those holes.
Yep. Yep.
What else?
So this one, I'm going to ask our friends at FanDuel if they can post it. It is available somewhere else, but FanDuel, if you can post an even better number. Here's a little bit more of a off the beaten path prop bet. I'm going to bet on the course record to be broken, 12 to 1. 12 to 1 is what I got of that right now. FanDuel, give me a better number. Tommy Fleetwood obviously did it in the final round in 2018.
63 was it?
Yeah, 63, so 7 under. But we all know the course isn't going to be quite as hard this time around, right? I mean, we know for sure the fairways are a little bit more wide. I don't think the USGA wants, Zach Johnson getting mad at them that they've lost the course, although it is even in the field this week. If not, he'll be there complaining. So I think we can feel pretty confident the course is going to be a little bit easier. Now, obviously, conditions are going to play a big role in this. But 12 to 1, it's playing easier than it did last time the course record was broken. Why not?
Yeah. You'll see Michael Kim like 5 under through 7 on like Saturday, just going out first or something.
Why not?
Be like, okay,
why not a
let's
little
go.
12 to 1 sweat on the course record?
Like when you say it, I feel like impossible. But when you made the case that it happened last time and like it is playing easier this time, like they're not, they acknowledge they lost it last time.
Right.
And this time they might, losing it is always in the range of outcomes. But I feel, I said earlier, Ian, I'm naive enough to think the USGA is actually just going to let the course and the players be the star of the story. Not, like I'm confident in that. Obviously, I could feel like an idiot 2 hours into the tournament or Saturday, and you see the players giving them the bird, whatever. You said it. I was like, you're nuts, and then you talked through it for 30 seconds, and I'm like, actually, it's a pretty good point.
Now it'll have to be broken by at least the site that I'm looking at. Like, so it has to be an 8 under round. It can't be matched. It has to be broken. So FanDuel, post it, maybe same odds, but if it matches, then the cash will bet. I take that.
Awesome. Ian, thanks, friend. Jay's got a question.
Not many people know this, but Ian and I share a very special bond in being big time by Geoff Fienberg at
Okay,
AJ.
hold on. No, time out. This is now the third time I've come on this show, and you bring it up every time, Jay.
It's a bet.
Yes. Last
bet.
summer, we saw Geoff get mobbed, and a couple guys want some pictures with him. We don't have to keep bringing it up.
It's
every
okay.
time I come
Listen,
on.
Look at how shy it makes Geoff. It's a 10 out of 10 bet.
Well, no, I'm like, yes, I was there like hanging with you guys, but I gave people who liked the work, like I gave them, I guess, the time and respect. And listen, that was like, honestly, the Jays like record then is probably almost identical to what it is now. when we went to that
they started
game.
their run. Yeah, actually.
Like maybe this week they started their run.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but Jay, that happened a year ago. You brought it up 3 different times. I've come on.
Okay, I'll drop it now. I feel like it's a good bit that makes Jeff really shy.
Well,
and sinks in his chair, and it's always funny to see his reaction. Ian, you tell me when you're free for a watch, if you ever want to do a watch along, and I will literally make sure that happens. I'm not even kidding you. You pick any of the next World Cup games after this week, so next week or the week after, and I will make sure you're there.
Okay. Next time that I live a 5-minute walk away.
Okay.
That's when I'll do it. One last thing. Sorry, I don't want to. One last thing. Has anyone given out Patrick Reed to win? I know you're first round leader, Patrick Reed.
No, I'm actually, that promo is, it's a player I'm picking to win who you click like a coupon for.
Oh, and you also
and
get
a
first round
token, and if they do get first round leader, they'll pay out your win bet.
All right.
On FanDuel. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, we could do this. I'm a Patrick Reed guy. I think there's a high probability of it getting stupid.
Yep.
And when it gets stupid, like it's Patrick Reed, Terrell Hatton. Like I missed the good Cam Smith numbers. I haven't gotten on theirs, but there's like guys you want. I think if you are confident, of course, it's going to get stupid.
Yeah, when you close your eyes and you try to picture a guy who's going to be handsy around the greens and save power in a pivotal moment, like Captain America.
Yeah. So that there it is.
Glad we're on the same page with that one.
I just don't like that he doesn't golf very much.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But
would we be giving him a hard time if he was doing like a YouTube series? I don't know.
Would we be giving him a hard time? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I don't know. I need this guy to golf. I need more of them. Yeah. Thanks, Ian.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Good luck.
All the best.
Take care.
Awesome.
Jay, how you feeling, bud?
Great. Excited to get into things. Great stuff from Ian.
We made it.
I feel like Ian doesn't like my bits, but it's okay.
No, he's just like, you worked it. You worked it. He's telling you to just get new material.
I don't have new material with him and you, you know?
So he's then saying maybe like don't run the same play 3 times in a row.
You're right.
Just like you can use the bit, but maybe just like, throw in a play action every now and then, or just like don't use any bit and then won't feel so stale.
Fair enough. Do you have all the picks recapped? I got some of them, don't have all of them. Some of them I'm also missing prices for. Maybe if you want to run through all of them before you share your pick, or
yeah,
I can help you out here. Pat Mayo has Chris Goddard at I believe around 50 to 1. Was that the number? You can help me out with that one. Ryan Noonan had Henley top 20 at plus 130. Hasselbauer had Ken Smith plus 450 top Oceania. Byron, the model maniac, had Hideki top 20, and I will find that that price right there for you in just a second. Or Jeff, if you can pull that, that would be solid. Hideki is plus 200, to finish top 20. Joe Idon had Bobby Mack to win outright. I believe that was 80 to 1. Alex Blickel had.
They had props though.
Do you have them?
I don't.
People like a recap at the end. This is what I wrote down. So that's what I wrote down. Alex also had Hideki as well. Like Hideki pretty much all over. I believe
Alex had Hideki T10.
T10,
which was like plus 650.
Plus 650, yeah.
Andy had Henley over Sam Burns. The Bear Chris had the over in the total strokes.
Yep.
Spencer had Andrew Putnam to make the cut. Golden Pants.
JJ Spawn, top former champion. 13
oh, yeah. And listen, he moved the market.
Really?
He moved the market. I already see that. I saw that flash on the screen down to 11. It could even be shorter. He made some good points on that one. Ian obviously just came in with the no hole in one. And then do you have what my boy Baroff gave?
Baroff gave a combination of things. Grillo, I don't know.
Yeah.
Low Argentinian, Matsuyama, low Japanese parlay together that he gave.
He also
mentioned James Nicholas. Basically all up the board. T40, T20, T10, T5, T20 17-1. Who's the former Korn Ferry Tour player, who's from New York. And then
So
Ian, no
he
hole,
went with Griot, top
138.
Argentinian.
Yes,
I'm going with, for my prop, because I'll have to clip Griot. No surprise. Jaco Neiman, top South American. Just Jaco's got that trajectory bullet. He's going to march it around this place. For him to win, I don't know if he has those clutch up and downs. But for him to clip Griot and Toasty and Nico, we got this. Jaco Neiman, plus 110. US Open champion, I wish.
All right.
I will win the most money if he wins. Just based on it seemed like I overbet some Jaco futures. My card, Jay, Cam Young future 70-1, Terrell Hatton future 66-1, Jaco Neiman future 90-1. And then the bets that I have made this week, I'm not finished, but we're just seeing that weather like an Open Championship. Why not just wait? I can lose a couple points to get like more information. I found today very informative. Russell Henley, 45-1, and Patrick Reed, 54-1 are bets I've made this week. I'm pretty much deciding if I'm betting like 2 or 3 other guys in the middle, like a Goddard, like a Hideki, or if I'm just using all that money and betting someone really good like a Rory. I haven't made that decision yet. But where I am now, Cam, Neiman, Hatton, Henley, Reed. Got to be honest. That doesn't feel like I got a winner in there.
You got a winner in there, Jeff, because the best part is Reed's going to win the first round for you.
Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Let's get out of here.
Sounds good.
Right now, Jay, you want me to read that sucker one more time?
It's all good. Shout out to everyone who came on the show. Shout out to FanDuel. Shout out to you guys for tuning in throughout the entire show. If you can do us a favor, smash the like button. It really goes a long way here on the channel. If you have friends who like golf betting content, apologies for the technical issues at the beginning of the show with Jeff's volume. Got it fixed. If you have friends who enjoy golf betting content, please share this video with them. If they're looking for a ton of bets in group chats, whatever the case may be, please share this video. Also, if you're looking for some live watch alongs of the World Cup, Wednesday will be the first one here on the channel. So hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell because we do tons of fun stuff here on the channel live. And you're going to want to know when we're live. So ring that notification bell as well. Take us out, Jeff.
Oh, sorry. Got lost in the Hammer Daily feeds. Seeing your World Cup results, Jay.
What's okay? We don't have to talk about that.
Okay, let's go. Jason's got to get out. There's a France-Senegal game being played, and there's a window open in here, and we're on top of like a street of like 20 different restaurants, and it's just been wafting in here, making me hungry. Hearing people having a good time, enjoying the World Cup. We're going to get out of here. Thanks to everybody. Like Jay said, we're going for 3 straight winning major extravaganzas, friends. We've won last 2. We're going to pull this one out as well. I hope. Let's be confident. US Open at the Cock. One of the great weeks of the year. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Jeff on Golf's US Open Betting Extravaganza. We hope you enjoy.